And we're just going to go for it.
What did you do?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dudes Bet Daily. We are back here for an NFL Sunday. And let's talk about Saturday a little bit real quick because that was kind of wild. You see Tennessee go down in flames. I'm talking absolute flames. Michigan and Ohio State both struggle ahead of their big matchup. USC gets it done in a really entertaining Pac-12 after dark game. UCLA had the best day ever, or USC had the best day ever. I'm sorry. They could get the job. They could actually make the playoff now if they're able to win out. They've got Notre Dame and the Pac-12 title game. Papa Dude, who's the big winner yesterday from college football?
Oh, you nailed it. It's got to be USC. Maybe we ought to go the other way and say the big loser, which is Tennessee. That was just embarrassing. And to give up 63 to South Carolina, that is awful. I think that is the big loser for sure. We were talking about before we came on, Ohio State and Michigan both struggled mightily, and they got to play each other next week. So they were looking ahead a little bit, probably. And this time of the year, the pressure begins to get to you. Look at Georgia. They didn't play very well either. You just win this time of the year. But USC needs TCU to get beat. That's the whole thing for them. So come on, Horned Frogs. I am a Horned Frog fanatic right now.
So yeah, it was funny watching that game and listening to you guys discuss how the defense under USC's coach kind of struggles as it goes on. Yeah. There was some plays where it just felt like they were going to lose that in a shootout, much like we've seen Oklahoma lose a lot of these shootout games because of defensive breakdowns. But DTR throws those 3 interceptions all inside of 2 minutes in both halves, and that ends up making the difference in that game. Yeah, this one was frustrating. She can't sing, winning by 5. Not sure where that came from. Not sure why the one wasn't on the lead. That was a little interesting as well, but what are you going to do? And I got to give a shout out to David Barista here. World Cup kicks off. He gave out the first goal scorer underneath the video yesterday, plus 425, and has a parlay first goal scorer with Ecuador, who's looking quite good right now, up 2-0 at half over Qatar's hosting the tournament and not looking great. I've got 2-1 exact score. So I need a Qatar goal there in the second half to cash that puppy and start the day off right. Magic, how much did you bet on the World Cup this morning?
None. Screw it. I hate the whole damn thing. I never should have been in Qatar. All those poor people dying. Terrible.
Well, all right. On that note, let's head over to the NFL because we have a full slate of NFL games going on today. The one that's attracting the most money early is actually Bears-Falcons. The Falcons were as high as a 4-point favorite earlier this week. It's down all the way to plus 2.5 now for the Bears. Aaron, any interest here in laying the 2.5 with Atlanta? Now it's under a field goal?
No interest in this game at all. This is 2 very unpredictable teams. The Falcons are trash. The Bears are hot trash. I mean, this is a terrible game. Don't bet it. Stay away from it. That would be my opinion on this one. You know, the Bears at times, it's like, wow, they've got it figured out. And then now they can't stop anybody. You know, they finally get the offense going. Fields is looking pretty good. And now they're losing games 41-38 instead of 13-10. The Falcons, perfect chance to pick up a win in Carolina last week on Thursday night and was awful. So I have no interest in this game.
I played the Bears plus 3 earlier in the week. I would not play them plus 2.5. However, I still kind of like the Bears team total over 23.5. Last week it was 26. I think that the Bears are going to be able to put some points up here, Magic. What about you?
I mean, they can, but I don't know about what's the weather going to be like.
Well, it's a dome, so
pretty good. Then, yeah, they'll put up points. That's all you need to know. If Chicago's inside, they're fine. If they're outside, fade them.
Another game that was supposed to be outside but is now inside, Papa Dude. The Browns playing the Buffalo Bills in Detroit, where they stopped selling tickets to the game, interestingly enough, this morning. Not really sure what was going on with that. I think it's 4 or 5 feet of snow up in upstate New York right now. The pictures are absolutely wild. Buffalo players had trouble getting to the airport to fly to Detroit for this game. So they're all over the place here. What do you do with a game like this, Papa? Do you just pass it? Or are you interested in playing some Buffalo, or are you going to lean toward Cleveland?
So they flew to the game?
They flew to the game. I guess the runway was open for like 5 hours yesterday, and they
I
were
guess,
able to find the window.
You mean they didn't go before yesterday?
I think it was yesterday they finally got out.
I would have thought once they knew they were switching the game to Detroit, they might have gone then.
Well, there was a big snowstorm happening, so it was a little hard.
No, they did this before the snow started, didn't they? They canceled this like on Wednesday, didn't they?
I don't think they did it until Thursday or Friday, because on Thursday morning it was still in Buffalo.
Well, anyway, I don't know. If I was a player, I'd say, I ain't getting on that damn airplane. You crazy? I guess maybe it was safer than going on the road. I don't know. I don't like to fly. So, what'd you ask me? Oh, Buffalo. First of all, I want to make a clarification here, because you are like so many people who look at Oklahoma, and the comment you made is wrong. You said Oklahoma loses a lot of these shootouts. That is not true. They lose one every year, maybe
right,
two.
The only one against the good
they
team.
Win
to be clear, he's talking about the old Oklahoma. The new Oklahoma loses 5 or 6. But go on.
Yeah, this is Oklahoma Junior we're talking about now. But anyway,
back when you had your favorite coach, that's when they would lose just one of the shootouts.
Well, I tell you what, if you're going to get in a shootout, you do want him.
Yeah.
Because he is fantastic offensively, no doubt about it. Buffalo, -8. Yes, I'm going with the Bills. I think this helps them to go inside. And I think I don't like Cleveland at all. If the Bills are right, I think they cover.
Aaron, I'm kind of surprised your best bet didn't come from this game. I thought you were going to play one of your over 1.5 or over 2.5 touchdowns from Josh Allen here through the air.
Well, I've watched him the last 2 weeks is the problem. Right? I mean, he's been bad. He's injured. We've seen quarterbacks try to play injured and how badly that goes. It astounds me that they just keep trying to do that, with the evidence that just if you're hurt, just don't play if you're a quarterback for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Browns are really, really bad, but Josh Allen just hasn't played very well at all the last couple of weeks. Hasn't looked like himself. So it's a weird game. It's the Bills off 2 straight losses against the Browns, who are just an abysmal franchise in Detroit. I mean, it's pretty weird. There could be some weird stuff happening in this one. You would think Buffalo would kind of just go out and, they really need a win. You think they'd be really motivated to just go out and play a good game today and win. But I think, anytime you got a NFL game on a neutral site, it gets kind of weird. So I don't know what's going to happen in this game.
Interesting. Buffalo playing in Detroit on Thanksgiving as well. So they don't need to go anywhere after this game. I think that's one of the reasons they ended up playing this game in Detroit, so that they were able to just stay there versus having to travel back home and then go back. So we'll see what the ramifications are there on Thanksgiving Day and around that game with the lack of travel now for Buffalo through this game. One that jumped out at me, the Eagles are laying 6.5 against the Colts. Last week, the Raiders were laying 6 against the Colts. Are we sure that Jeff Saturday and the switching from being in Vegas to being in Indianapolis should make that big of a difference against a team that was undefeated before Monday night? And obviously, turnover issues, that's what caught them Monday night, not necessarily Washington. Magic, you're down there shaking your head. What do you think about this Eagles-Colts game?
Dude, that's the thing is when you said the line, I was like, man, I know that new coach syndrome can really, even though Jeff Saturday gets hired and he's like, I'm not a head coach. And then they're like, oh, what? Like all the players or the veterans are like, hey, what do you think about Jeff Saturday being a head coach? And they're like, why is he the head coach? Last week is why. That was why. I don't know. As an Eagles supporter, at least from a fantasy perspective here, I don't like that. I really don't like that, especially with, as Aaron mentioned, or Mike mentioned, the turnovers last time against Washington. I'd be really scared on the road here to be laying 6.5, 7 points.
Papa, dude, we know the Colts offensive line struggled and Matt Ryan's a statue back there. Do you think the Eagles can wreak enough havoc here to cover?
I'll tell you what worries me more than the turnovers. Their defense did not play well last week. Washington did whatever they wanted. We've all been waiting, I think, for the bubble to burst, right? Aaron and I were talking about this yesterday. I think this is a dangerous game for the Eagles. I really do. They're better than Indy. It's Monday night. They'd have a short week. Indy's not awful. I'm scared for the Eagles in this one. I'm a big fan. I'm scared. I think they might eke it out, but I think it's going to be tough. Don't you, Aaron? Don't you think it's pretty just
Yeah, we kind of talked about how we thought this could be a close game one way or the other. Boy, you'd love to see the Colts plus 7.5. man, that would be really nice, or even +7. But the 6.5, that could get you beat if you take the Colts. I lean the Colts plus the points. I think the Eagles are going to win. We kind of lean the same way, Papa Dude, and we were talking about it yesterday, like you said. Could be a close one, I think the Eagles will play well, but the Colts, oddly enough, I mean, they're still kind of in things as far as the wild card goes, and this would be a win that would really get them back in the hunt. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think it'll be a close one. I'll take the Colts and the points.
I think Eagles win by 14 or more. I think they're going to absolutely light them up, and I think you're going to see Matt Ryan struggle. Like the first game after you hire a new coach, you get that bump. The second game, you don't have that same bump. Like there's just that the emotional rally around the coach getting fired doesn't necessarily hold on for the second game. I think the Eagles are going to thrash them because I don't think they're going to be able to move the football very well. I think that offensive line is going to cause some trouble. Speaking of fraudulent teams, let's go to the quote-unquote game of the day. The Dallas Cowboys are in Minnesota. The 6-3 Cowboys, the 8-1 Vikings. Cowboys are laying 1.5 here. I had no clue what to do with this game, Aaron.
Logic tells you the Vikings, right? I mean, the Vikings shouldn't be getting 1.5 here at 8-1, just beat the Bills and on and on and on. Cowboys lost to the Packers. Packers come back and nope, it was just a terrible loss, right? The Packers couldn't even beat the Titans at home. I'm going to go the Vikings. I'm kind of with you, though. It does feel like one of those lines. It's a total trap. It's like they're just begging you to play Dallas in this spot. But, we've seen a couple of those, and it goes the way that logic has went, as far as this year goes. So I'm going to take the Vikings here. I'll let Dallas prove it to me today. Really horrific loss last week. And, like I said, I think the Vikings will get them this week. That's a tough place to play in Minnesota. Yeah. They're 8-1. That's going to be a wild atmosphere.
One of the interesting storylines over the last 10 years of the NFL is the deterioration of home field advantage, where it used to be 3 points no matter what, and it's slowly gone down. And now a lot of places are calling it 1.5. Papa, that Minnesota stadium is one of those stadiums where they get raucous still. I still think it's a full 3 there, and that might be the difference today.
Yeah, I think I've got to go with the Vikings. Last week, that loss by Dallas was awful. It was awful. The only thing is Minnesota was so lucky last week. They were so lucky to win that game. Sometimes your luck runs out. But I don't like Prescott in these games. I just don't. And Dallas let me down last week defensively. They've been so good defensively, and they couldn't stop Green Bay in the fourth quarter. That was awful. So I'm going to go with the Vikings, but I'm going to stay away from this game. I don't have a good feel for it.
Yeah, one of the stats that's all about regression. Usually you end up around 500 in one-score games. The Vikings are 7-0 in one-score games this year, and it's their last 7 wins. So at some point, this bubble has to burst where you're just not able. And that's in games where they're favored by a ton and they're favored by 1 or dog. Yeah. It's 7-0 in their last 7 all one-score games. Kind of wild to think they're going to be able to keep that up. Sunday Night Football, before we jump into the race of the day and the best bets, we've got the Chiefs heading into Los Angeles to face the Chargers. Chargers got some positive injury news, may get both of their wide receivers back tonight in Mike Williams and I can't even remember the guy who never plays.
Keenan Allen,
who never plays. Right now, Kansas City laying 5.5 in that matchup. There's going to be more Chiefs fans there. They're going to be Chargers fans tonight. Magic, is LA able to get the W here, or you're laying the wood here with the Chiefs?
No, lay the wood. This is the Chargers was a team that I thought at the beginning of the season, I was like, hey, they're set up. They could make a nice playoff run. And then Justin Herbert got hurt early, and it's just been kind of a mix of a season right now. As far as the Chiefs, I know with Patrick Mahomes, you can never count him out. I just don't really like the way that the Chargers have been playing headed into this game. And like you said, it's not a home game for them. Nobody in LA gives a damn.
Yeah, their offensive line, the Chargers, still not right, still missing multiple starters on it. Chiefs up the middle have a pretty good pass rush. Aaron, you think that's the difference in this cover, or you think that the Chargers will be able to move the football?
It's a weird game when these two play. The Chargers usually play them very close and have really blown opportunities to beat them. So plus 5.5 for the Chargers seems pretty enticing to me. I think Chiefs win. I think it's by a field goal or less, though. I think we'll sit here tomorrow in our text groups or Wednesday when we talk about it on the show and go, how the hell did the Chargers lose that game? That just seems like the trend with this current Charger team the last couple of years versus the Chiefs. So again, I'll take the 5.5 plus the 5.5 with the Chargers, but I believe the Chiefs are going to win the game.
This just feels like it's going to be 30-27 when the game ends, and the Chiefs are going to be up 2 scores the majority of the game. And then all of a sudden, the Chargers just cover right at the last second, get that trash touchdown, not able to get the job done. Tough to go either way. I haven't decided if I'm going to bet this game yet. I may bet Chiefs first half, Chiefs win the game, which is a prop you can get. I think it's minus 125 right now, so they have to win both the first half and the full game. So I do think they're going to be in control of this game for the most of it. Before we move on, I do want to talk about one more game, because I had bet it and I want to at least mention it. Detroit heading into the Giants here. Detroit catching 3. Magic, this is your team, one of them, I think.
One of many, yes.
The Lions are able to fare today in New York.
Listen, I hope that, for Mike and I, our preseason bet of the Giants over 6.5 had already cashed, which is pretty awesome. I'm a little worried. This is I want to say a trap game in the sense of the Lions are scrappy this year, and we've got Thanksgiving game coming up on Thursday. They're going to try and build some momentum for that. That said, I think the Giants win. I think the Lions might cover. The Giants are 1-7-1 with the over-under. So they've only gone over one game. They've pushed on one, and they've gone under in 7 of them. So might be a little bit of a low-scoring game because Detroit's offense isn't super powered. They're always kind of hanging around there, it seems.
And their defense sucks, especially their run defense. I think Saquon Barkley eats today. I bet over 98.5 rush yards for Saquon Barkley, who Dave mentioned may get 30 carries in this game. If he gets 30 carries, he's going way over that total. Aaron, did you look at this one at all?
Your bet's the bet. And if you see a line that's 98.5, that tells you how bad that they think the defense is that they're playing. Well, I mean, and Barkley's good as well, but that's a high number. But yeah, I think your bet is the bet. And listen, it is no secret. Saquon Barkley is the glue that holds everything together. He means, for a running back, he means more to his team than I've seen in a long time. And if he got hurt, I think the Giants would totally fall off. But he is so dynamic, and they've built that offense around him. And like you said, it's a perfect situation today. You take on a Lions team. They're not very good up front. He should be able to expose them. It's kind of a mismatch. I'm with you. I like the Giants to win. I like the Giants to cover, and I like your bet as well.
Hopefully the Giants can keep that train rolling. All right, let's go to the race of the day. We're going to head out to Del Mar, race number 8, the grade 3 Bob Hope, which has 3 Bob Bafferts in it, ironically. It's going to be an interesting, it may not be an interesting race, but we'll start with Having a Meltdown, who clearly the best horse in the race for what we've seen on paper so far, the 2 horse out of Bob Baffert's barn. Going to try and take him gate to wire. Aaron, I know you like this horse quite a bit. Do you think this is he just demolishes this field?
I do. I'm going to single in the spot. I don't think you need to play anybody else in this race. You look at his 3 starts. They've all come at Del Mar. And that's important because Del Mar is a little bit of a quirky track. Magic and I have talked. Del Mar form versus Santa Anita form, it can be sporadically different or wildly different. But 3 races over the Del Mar surface, 2 wins, including a grade 3, 2 races back. Listen, he lost the grade 1 Del Mar Futurity to Cave Rock, but he finished ahead of the rest of them. Yeah, to me, he's definitely the one to beat. I think he gets out in front and he doesn't look back today. Maybe another Baffert comes and gets him because that seems to happen sometimes, but at least on paper coming into this, he looks like the best Baffert.
I agree. He's the best Baffert. I actually put the 6 horse on top here, Practical Move, who lost to Cave Rock on debut, then lost to National Treasure second out. I think he likes that the 7 furlong distance is going to be good for him. However, in the preview I said, I'm going to play a cold 2-6 exacta as well, just in case he can't get by Having a Meltdown, because Having a Meltdown should be relatively loose on the lead. I don't want to say completely, because I wouldn't be shocked if another Baffert's close to him, but it feels like the 2 goes. I think the 6 is the next best horse in this spot. Magic, what do you feel about, or how do you feel about the Bob Hope today?
I went 2-7 here. I think that Newgate's debut at Del Mar going 5.5 was really impressive. And I made a note that I was like, look, this could be a potential star 2-year-old. And it didn't quite pan out, right? We saw the Del Mar Futurity and then the Breeders' Futurity. Neither of those paid out for him. But we're taking the blinkers back off. We're back to 1 turn. Like Aaron said, this is a horse that has won at Del Mar, has run well here before. I think the blinkers off is what might make the difference, and be what Aaron said. If there's a horse that goes and catches Having a Meltdown, it's going to be the 7 with that blinkers off. Velasquez is staying aboard. As far as the 6 goes, I think he's good to hit the board, but I have him 3rd here. I couldn't put him over the 2 or the 7, Mike.
Papa Dude, Baffert in the winner's circle.
Aaron, what was the name of the horse you picked?
Having a Meltdown.
Okay. People probably don't remember who Bob Hope is. Probably. Do any of you guys remember who Bob Hope is?
Yeah, he's an entertainer.
My grandparents told me about him once.
Okay, have you ever seen him?
I mean, I'm sure I've seen him at some point. But if you put him in a line, I would not recognize
well,
him.
no one in there is going to know this joke. Okay, so anyhow.
I think
Okay.
he looks like a skeleton. now.
Bob Hope, the Bob Hope, what is it called? The classic? What's this called? The Bob Hope? Just the Bob Hope?
Bob Hope, yeah.
Okay. Having a meltdown is going to win this by a nose because that's what Bob Hope was famous for. He had a huge nose. Nobody gets this except me. He's going to win this by a nose in the Bob Hope.
And who's going to run second,
Mark
Bob?
it down. What?
Who's running
Who's running
second?
second then?
What was the six's name?
Practical move.
That's the one.
There we go.
Get up there and you got to win the Bob Hope by a nose.
Hi, Mike, how long is the race?
7 furlongs.
He took longer than 7 furlongs to get that story done, man.
Bob Hope knows is longer than 7 furlongs, apparently.
That's what I was going to say. You stole my joke. There you go.
I'm kidding.
I know Bob Hope very well. I mean, he was big whenever I was
Um,
you guys' age.
real quick on Somich's horse, Practical Move. A horse to look out for. He's not in this race, but the horse that finished ahead of Practical Move and then got disqualified. Look out for Fort Bragg. That's another Baffert horse. Like I said, the maiden, the Practical Move, got moved up and won, quote unquote, won the race. Fort Bragg got disqualified, and it was a rightful disqualification. Came back next time out and dominated. Look out for Fort Bragg. I think that horse is pretty decent.
I hate saying this. Baffert's freaking loaded.
Yep.
The number of 2-year-olds he has it's unbelievable how many good he normally has good. This year is ridiculous how many good 2-year-olds he's been trotting out all across the country. All right, let's jump into the best bets here. I mean, this is the one. Actually, we're gonna save Magic for last because I know everyone wants that Magic.
You know what it is.
So let's kick it off here with Aaron heading to the ice tonight.
Yeah, thank God. Going back to the ice. And boy, should I just pick the Blues plus or minus the 1.5 yesterday for plus money. So dumb that I didn't make that the best bet. Not going to make that mistake again. Going to go with a minus 1.5 of the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. I did it because plus 114. It's just too good to pass up. They're in Chicago tonight. Both teams played last night as well. Chicago they are atrocious right now. They really don't look good whatsoever. So I think Pittsburgh gets it done easily tonight. They've been a little bit hit or miss, but the thing you could really count on with the Penguins, they can score goals, and that usually leads to lopsided victories when they win. And I think they're going to win in Chicago tonight. I think they get it done by more than one. So at plus 114, I will take Pittsburgh minus 1.5 goals.
Go Penguins. I like it. All right, I'm going to head to the NFL here. Brian Robinson Jr. is facing the Houston Texans. He's taken over the backfield for the Washington Commanders. The Houston Texans' run defense is the worst run defense in the NFL with a bullet. They are giving up 100 yards plus to running back after running back after running back. Robinson's number is only at 62.5. He got 20-plus carries 2 of the last 3 games. If he gets 15 carries, he's flying over this number. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes over this number in the first half. I think I think they are splitting up the carries too much between Gibson and Robinson from a book perspective because Gibson's at 45.5. Robinson should have some of those Gibson yards. So give me Robinson over 62.5 rush yards today for the Washington Commanders. All right, Papa Dude, who you got?
Well, I haven't gotten a best bet since Halloween, I don't think. And neither have very many of the rest of us. So I thought today, okay, what is the dumbest bet? What is the dumbest thing you can do? So that's what I went with today, the dumbest. So let's go and let's get the worst team in the NFL, one of the worst. Well, they're not the worst. The Texans are the worst, and your bet involves them, so I like that. And let's go with the Carolina Panthers in Baltimore against the Ravens. This is a dumb bet, except for the fact the point spread is 13. I'm not a Ravens fan at all. I don't think they're that good. I think they overlook them a little bit today. The man is quarterbacking for Carolina. Baker Mayfield is quarterbacking. The Panthers love him. His teammates do. They're going to rally around. Baker is going to get rejuvenated today. All they got to do is play within 13. Their defense is pretty good. So I'm going Panthers plus 13 in Baltimore and hope Lamar breaks his leg or something.
let's just say gets the wind knocked out of him. Let's not go for a broken leg. Let's go a little
I
less
don't
aggressive on it.
Might as well eliminate him completely.
these big dogs have been very good in the NFL so far this year. So hopefully we can keep that trend going. All right, the moment of the show, the moment that we all been waiting for, the Grey Cup today. Magic, you've been on a heater. I think, what was it, 19-12 for the season?
19-14 plus 575 right now. I bet in the CFL.
All right, let's make it 20-14. Who you got tonight?
I need the CFL to be playing a lot more days during the week to help out my overall record on this show.
Toronto.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right. I was surprised by this one too.
I'm shocked.
Here's the deal. All right, you gotta know.
Okay, kill the music.
Winnipeg, they've won the Grey Cup 12 times. They've been there a record 26 times. Toronto has won a record 17 Grey Cups. They've been there 23 times. These two teams from opposite conferences love to meet in the Grey Cup. Toronto owns the league's best win percentage ever in the Grey Cup, 74% of the time. Winnipeg has won the last two Grey Cups. They're trying to three-peat it. Hasn't been done in over 40 years. Here's why I like Toronto to cover. Toronto's star running back, who was Winnipeg's star running back until this last offseason when he got a big deal to go, well, big for the CFL, to go to Toronto. He missed half the season for Toronto. He came back last game, looked healthy, looked incredible. Also, Toronto's starting offensive line hasn't been healthy and this intact since week 4. Now they're going to be intact. We got our best running back, who was the league's leading rusher 3 times before this season. They're 8-1 straight up. They're 6-2-1 against the spread in their last 9 games. All of that said, just like every historically great football team in history, you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody's won more Super Bowls than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Miami Dolphins. No other team has ever had a season like the Miami Dolphins. The Magic Mike Show, guys, we support winners. That's why the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they're going to three-peat, but they're going to keep it close. And it doesn't matter that they keep it close. Why? Because at the end of the day, they don't ask how much, they just ask how many.
In the show.
There you go. I don't know what else we need. That's all. All right, let's talk about the best bets here. We'll recap them real quick here. Papa Dude taking the Panthers plus 13. Aaron taking the Penguins minus 1.5 plus 114. I'm going, or Magic taking Toronto plus 6. I'm going to go Brian Robinson Jr. over 62.5 rush yards. 1-12 on the week. Not good. This is the first time in the show's history we're down, so we got to get this thing going. We got to get some winners. Good luck, everybody. If you're playing the sports, you're playing the horses, whatever it is, I hope you crush it today. We will see you on Wednesday.